Hey guys, it's Iblis here from the Baron's Finest once again, coming at you guys with a little deck profile. This deck profile is admittedly more of a fun one, but I admittedly wound up loving this deck today. I did go to my locals, and I actually went undefeated I went pretty much 4-0. Um, well, technically 5-0 because there was also a little bonus round I wound up playing, and I'll talk about the matchups. But yeah, I wound up playing Worms. Worms are just a deck that I just randomly got bored and was like, you know what, let's make this deck. I have everything for it. It's all just sitting here. Why not just turn it into an actual deck and play it? So I made Worms, and admittedly, this deck is so much fun. I did kind of make it in a rush, so there are some things I was kind of missing, more so from the side and extra compared to the main deck. But I'll go and talk about everything as we go along with the list. So I'll run through it and then I'll do my card explanations. I am back to this layout, by the way. I'm not sure which layout I like more, but this one feels a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more talkative. So let's go and get started.
So to start off with, as soon as my phone actually decides to focus. Okay, if there's a grainy effect, I apologize. I don't know why that would be in this case. There's one Worm King, one Evil Dragon Ananta, one Thunder King Ryo, 3 Worms X, 3 Worm Carteros, 1 Honest, 3 Worm Yagan, and 3 Card D. Spells, we play 1 Dark Hole, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Soul Taker, 1 Stumbling, 2 MST, and 3 Pot of Duality. As for the traps, we play the Bottomless Torrential Compulse Warning, Call the Haunted, 1 Wabiku, 2 Mirror Force, 2 Dimensional Prison, 2 Fiendish Chains, and 3 W Nebula Meteorite. So to go and explain the list, I'm going to explain the monsters because I know people don't know what these do. Worm King is pretty much a Scrap Dragon, or a Diamond Dire, however you like to think of it, for worms. And go away, phone warning, I don't care. Worm King, pretty much, you're not really going to be tribute summoning him. Your ideal goal is to get this off with W Nebula Meteorite, which I will explain. But pretty much, you sack a worm, you get the pop a card. He's legitimately a Diamond Dire, Scrap Dragon, however you like to think of it. Or even to make a Fantasy Strago Psych, I guess. This card put in a lot of work. He usually got hit though by Bottomless Torrential or whatever. I did side him out a lot, but he was admittedly good for what he needed to do. And probably the big win condition of the day, Evil Dragon Ananta. Ananta is so good. I love this card, admittedly. What Ananta does, for people who do not know, is you banish every reptile monster from your field and grave, special summon it, it gains 600 attack per reptile banished, and during each of your end phases, you get to pop a card. So pretty much this thing is going to be obliterating the field while also typically maintaining a giant body, because this deck surprisingly has a lot of deck thinning to it. I was really surprised at how much I could actually get this thing up. I think the smallest I ever got to was 12, but that's because I drew it early and had to drop it. But other than that, I think the smallest I ever got it to was 24. So that's a pretty decent sized body. I think the biggest I got it to was like 48 or something like that. Thunder King's a stall monster. And then the worms. Alright, let's explain the little guys, I guess. Worms X. He is pretty much the... Ooh, excuse me, running out of air. He is the Armageddon Knight of the deck. Pretty much what he does is when you normal summon him, you dump a worm from your deck to the grave. And his other effect is that if you have a face-up worm Yagan, he can't be destroyed by battle. I never used that effect all day, or it never came into play. However, he was admittedly good in the fact that he pretty much baited out Veilers, he baited out Fiendish Chains, and people didn't get the interaction between him and Yagan, and admittedly just won me games off the fact of what this card was. So I really love Zex. It was a good card. Carteros. Carteros is pretty much a Gear armor for the deck, if you want to think of him that way. Flip him, search a level 4 worm. Pretty much the only thing I ever really searched for was Zex. I think maybe like once or twice I got a second Carteros, but that was rare. So pretty much Carteros is the flipper guy. Everything's light, so we can play Honest, other than Ananta and Card D. Yagan. Yagan is pretty much this deck's own form of, I guess, Plague Spreader Zombie / Compulsory Evacuation Device. What he does is, if the only monster you have on your board is a Worms X, you special summon him in face down defense, and when he's flipped face up, you can pulse a monster. However, if he's removed from the field, you banish him. But because of how overlaying works, if you overlay with him in a Zex and say like they don't run over this guy, you do get to actually pretty much dump this Jagen right back into the graveyard. So basically, this with Zex created a lot of fun loops, and I got to abuse Jagen all day. I could resolve Jagen more than just like 3 times a game. 3 card D was pretty much just because the deck is slow, you need draw power, and pretty much 9 of your monsters on their own dig into the deck for you. So that was admittedly really good. Spells. I chose to play the 1 Soul Taker and 1 Stumbling. Soul Taker is because there are problematic monsters that this deck can deal with, and you just want to get rid of them. Admittedly, I love the Soul Taker. It put in a lot of work. On Stumbling, I really wasn't too fond of this. It was more of a last format idea, I guess. And I was going to play 2, and I'm glad I only played the 1, chose to play the 3rd card D instead, because the 3rd card was supposed to be a 2nd Stumbling. But after today, I'm going to be dropping the Stumbling. I have a few ideas of what I might drop it for, but we'll see. Then double MST and triple duality. The deck is pretty much a control/stun based deck. You need to dig, you need to be able to respond. The traps are all good. Call the Haunted and Wabiku, I guess, are cards I should explain. Call the Haunted, you can revive your Worm King, your Thunder King, your Zex if you need it, your Jagens if you need it. You can also revive Honest and bounce it back to your hand. I never did that. Pretty much, it was either the Zex or the Thunder King that I wound up trying to get back. But Call the Haunted is really good in my opinion. Plus, a fun fact is that you can use Zex to dump Worm King, then call Worm King, and then just go off from there. And Wabiku, the fact that this deck is slow, you need defenses. And pretty much this card acts as if you have another defense. So I've had I had games where my opponent would attack my Zex and would attack my set Jagen, and then just Wabiku it, so then my Jagen would live, and then I get to overlay the next turn. It really helped out a lot. I love the Wabiku. I'm almost tempted to bump this up too. But I'll have to do testing and see how that works. Double Mirror Force, double D Prison. Just monster removal, you need it. Double Chain for effect negation. I don't like Valor. I don't really want to use my own cards in hand just to stop your effects. Then Triple W Nebula Meteorite. This is a card that I probably drew the most today, and I actually was really happy I drew it. Meteorite, you flip all face-down monsters into face-up defense position, or all face-down monsters face-up. Then during your end phase, or during the end phase, flip them back face-down, draw 1 card for each, then special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile monster from your deck. So pretty much the idea behind it is that you can flip up either your Cardaroses or your Jagens with the effect of Meteorite, and get their effects off during like the opponent's turn, so you can compulse during their turn and you can search during their turn. End phase, you get to flip them back face down, then you special summon a Worm King from deck. Now, I may or may not be wrong about this ruling. This is how we went with it tonight at my locals. But the ruling that we went with on this card is that even if you don't draw, you still get the special summon. That could be completely wrong. If anybody actually knows that for a fact, please let me know. I would love to actually know the official wording on that, because the problem with this card's wording is that it says after that, and the after that isn't exactly specific on this card. So that's the only thing I don't get about Meteorite. But anyways, enough about that. On to the extra, and I will talk about changes I would make to the extra. So we play 1 Cowboy, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Maestroke, 1 Windup Zen Meister, 1 Paladynamo, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 2 King of the Feral Imps, 2 Constellar Omega, Hope, or Utopia Ray, Pearl, Crazy Box, and Ptolemy M7. With this extra deck, personally, because there were cards I made this extra deck in a rush, there are cards I would definitely change about it. I would drop a Omega and a King of the Feral Imps for both a Black Ship of Corn and a Photon Papal Operative. I forgot those cards. And I'm not exactly sure where. Probably the Utopia Ray. I would also add in the Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I forgot mine, and it really kind of bit me in the butt, but I managed to win without it regardless. So pretty much those are the changes I make to the extra. I mean, the extra overall was fine. I managed to win every game with what I had. And I guess if people want to know how much I went into what, I went Cowboy once, or I think once or twice per game. Dweller, I made that in my
quote-unquote bonus round because I wound up playing a little bit more after my final round. Maestro I never made, Zenmeister I never made, Paladynamo I made once or twice, Diamond Diary I made once, King of the Feral Imps I had to make once a game, same for Constellar Omega, Utopia I made once against Dragons, and it was funny because he couldn't actually get around it. Pearl I made in my Evil Swarm matchup, Crazy Box I never made, and Ptolemy I made once in my Gear Game matchup. The side deck, which is a really weird side, but I kind of BS'd it, but I'll talk about changes on would have made to this too. 2 DD Crow, 2 Ally Salvo, 2 Cyber Dragons, 1 Mind Control, 2 Smashing Ground, 1 7 Tools of the Bandit, 1 Magic Cylinder, 1 Soul Drain, 1 The Golden Apples, and 2 copies of Prideful Roar. I started the Crows in mainly for my last, or not my last round, but like my little bonus round, as I like to call it, where I wound up playing against Dragons. It was actually Casey Craig, the guy who had 11th place at the ARG circuit with his exact dragon build that he ran then. Ally Salvo is a card that I want to actually talk about a little bit. As soon as I can pull him out. There we go. Ally Salvo. This card, I feel, is actually going to be a really decent card this upcoming format, or at least with the Bujin, if we approach a Bujin era. So what Ally Salvo does, because, I mean, you can see the stats, it's a level 2 Dark Machine, 400 attack, 300 defense. When this card is destroyed by battle with a light monster and sent to the graveyard, select 2 cards on the field and destroy them. So pretty much you get to freely tear apart the opponent's field if they kill this guy by battle. Honestly, I love Ally Salvo. I'm actually really going to start testing this a little bit more. I'm not sure what exactly I would change up, like if I would really, I feel like he's going to be format dependent, but I love this card nonetheless. Ally Salvo is my bruh. And again, the reason I would put in the Chimera Tech is because I had Cybers. I forgot to actually, I couldn't find my Chimera Tech, I should say, so I had to go with that. The Mind Control was for anything level 4 base. I actually cited this in a lot. I wouldn't main it still, but I did like citing it. Smashings came in a lot. 7 Tools and Magic Cylinder are probably 2 of the MVP traps of the day. I'm probably going to be moving one of those 2 over the Wabaku. Or not the, wow, over the Stumbling, excuse me. They were so good to me this entire day. I would probably be main decking the 1/7 Tools and then side double Magic Cylinder. It's a maybe. I don't know. The Golden Apples was just something I thought would be funny. I never brought it in. Prideful Roar, I sided it in, but I never drew it. So I have really no opinion on the card. But I figured there were matchups I wanted to bring it in, so yeah. So that's pretty much it for the deck profile. As soon as I can get this back in focus. Okay. So for matchups, round 1, I wound up playing against Bujin. It's the same guy that you've seen here on the Baron's Finest play Mermail and Bujin. Pretty much, he kind of wound up telling me if I just had fun the entire day, I was going to win the tournament. And what do you know? He was right. I mean, I just dicked around the entire tournament. I had a lot of fun. It was a good day. Round 2, what did I play round 2? That was, round 2. Round 2, I played Thunder Family. That was an interesting matchup. I wound up winning that 2-0. I mean, Yagan kind of stomps on that deck, as weird as that is. The fact that they have to deal with 4 compulsory evacuation devices is kind of good. Round 3 was against my friend Girgia, Climate Control 404. Pretty much, he kind of got salty at me and apparently hates me now because I beat Girgia with Worms. So that was a really funny matchup. That was either a 2-0 or 2-1, I don't remember. That was the matchup I actually wanted the Chimera Tech in. It would have helped me win faster, but it didn't really make a difference in the end. I still won. Then the last round of the tournament, I played against Evil Swarm. Apparently that deck is still a thing. Honestly, that matchup was weird. Like, I only lost game 2 because of Evil Swarm Thunderbird. I never cared for Ophion. I never cared for his other cards. It was legitimately just Evil Swarm Thunderbird that was giving me troubles. But nonetheless, the deck performed well against that matchup. And then I wound up playing Casey Crick's Heretic Dragon Ruler, excuse me. That deck was that was an interesting matchup. We actually wound up having a bit of a really close game. So I really couldn't record that game, unfortunately, because I forgot my tripod. But yeah, that was a really fun game. And that's pretty much the Worm deck profile, I guess. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, let me know. Let me know in the comments what changes you would make, provided anybody actually cares enough to comment what you think of the deck, what you want to see from us. And by the way, Electroblade should decently be uploading a video fairly soon. He'll finally be making his appearance on this channel, meaning I don't have to cover all our dang content. And I guess that's it for now, so until next time, guys, I will see you all later. Peace.